Confession is the path to wholeness. The sin and wounds that I wallowed in and kept hidden from everyone was complicated by abuse that I'd suffered. Abuse which led to gender confusion and sexual addiction. I felt like there was something wrong with me. I took my identity from my sin and wounds. I was a failure, a loser, a pervert. A deep sense of shame hung over me like a cloak. I began to work hard to get rid of that cloak and to prove that this identity was not true. I graduated from high school at 16, married at 19, graduated from college and was ordained to ministry at 20 years old. I needed to prove that I was okay, and I was proving it by my religious performance. The pressure of performance began to take its toll on my health and my family, and I turned to my addictions for relief. The shame of addiction pushed me harder into performance. Finally, I was so exhausted from this cycle that I just wanted to go to sleep and never wake up. I became suicidal and was admitted to a psychiatric hospital. I lost my ministry, my health, and nearly lost my family. Then at my lowest point, God surprised me. My experience was exactly like the experience of the prodigal son. When I decided to turn back to God, He didn't reject me. He wasn't ashamed of me or disappointed in me. He ran to me. He embraced me with a love that I had never experienced before. It is this love that has defined my life ever since. As you listen to this CD, imagine God the Father, the creator of the universe, running to you, pursuing you for a relationship. Almighty God, the great I am, immovable rock, omnipotent, powerful, awesome Lord, victorious warrior, commanding King of kings, mighty conqueror, and the only time I ever saw Him run was when He ran to me. He took me in His arms, held my head to His chest, said, "My son's come home again," lifted my face, wiped the tears from my eyes with forgiveness in His voice. He said, "Son, do you know I still love you?" He caught me by surprise when God ran. The day I left home, I knew I'd broken His heart, and I wondered then if things could ever be the same. Then one night I remembered His love for me, and down that dusty road ahead I could see it was the only time I ever saw Him run. And He ran to me, He took me in His arms, held my head to His chest, said, "My son's come home again," lifted my face, wiped the tears from my eyes with forgiveness in His voice. He said, "Son, do you know I still love you?" He caught me by surprise, and He brought me to my knees when God ran. I saw Him run to me. I was so ashamed, all alone and so far away. But now I know that He's been waiting all
tears from my eyes. With forgiveness in his voice, I felt his